Hello, welcome to my channel. Hopefully you didn't just see that. Okay, today is a lazy day. It's like 12 o'clock and I haven't really done any school, but that's okay. I have all day to do school, and this is part of my school, honestly, if we're being honest. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a review of One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich today. So, let's start talking about One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. Yeah. Okay, so One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich is about a man called Ivan Denisovich, named Ivan Denisovich, and it is in the middle of World War II, and he is a Russian soldier in a Siberian labor camp. Yep, that's it. He's in a Siberian labor camp, and it is, the title is really straightforward. It is just a book about a day in the life of Ivan Denisovich, but the thing that it's trying to get across, it's not really trying to get across anything. I think this book is a very good representation of the idea that books are meant to be an empathetic experience, and that books truly, down to the core, are just meant to help you live a day or a couple days or a week or month or years in someone else's shoes, and to understand the things that they go through. Sometimes there's books about different races and their struggles, like Piecing Me Together, The Hate U Give. Sometimes there's books about different ages, like specifically, like there's the YA genre about young adults, there's new adult genre, there's the adult genre, there's children's, there's middle grade, and it gives you an experience of what it is to be, what it's like to be at that age. Or there's different time periods, just a whole bunch of different things. It's really just meant to be an empathetic experience of you learning what it's like to be someone else with their struggles. This accomplishes that very well. It's One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. It gives you a one-day experience of what it's like to be in specifically a Siberian labor camp, not just a labor camp in general, because you think labor camp, you think of usually World War II. Those were bit different because those were death camps. This is a labor camp, so I guess there is a difference then you. Anyways. So it's just giving you a glance into what it was like to live in a labor camp. It goes from when Ivan Denisovich wakes up in the morning at like 5:30 to when he eats dinner and falls asleep at like 9:30. I don't know when he goes to sleep. I don't think I ever said the time. But it talks about what it's like. It starts out talking about the hospital and being sick there, because Ivan Denisovich wakes up thinking that he feels a little sick. So he goes to the infirmary and tells them this, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we can only exempt 2 people from work a day, and we've already done that. You should have come earlier." He's like, "Okay, fine, whatever. I'll go work. I'm just sick." So obviously that's not an everyday occurrence, but obviously Alexander Solzhenitsyn found it valuable enough to put in, probably because, health is a very important part of your everyday life. So it's like, this is what being healthy or unhealthy is like in a labor camp. Sometimes if you're not on the brink of death, you have to work. If you're not on the brink of death, you just have to work, and that's how you have to deal with it. So that's how it starts out, and then it goes to his breakfast and about his daily routine, breakfast things, what he eats. Then he goes back to his bunk. Then he gets taken out to work. And honestly, I'm going to say I got very in the book, I was kind of glazing over it and sometimes didn't register all of the things that was happening. And I think that's really important because that's kind of how his life was. Everything was so mundane. It talked about how his work was just they were building something. I don't remember what they were building, but it was mortar and brick, and just doing this over and over and over again. And then you eat, and then you sleep. So yeah, it is kind of mundane, and that's the feeling of what it's like to be in a labor camp. And so the fact that it showed through that while you're reading it is really important. I want to read the book again so that I can register everything this time, maybe go through it slower than I did the first time, or be more focused next time I read it. I wasn't very focused when I was reading this book, but that is what the experience is like while you were reading it. And I imagine the point of it was the same thing, was the reason I pointed out, because it's trying to show you the mundane life that these prisoners live in. It also shows you the fellow prisoners that it shows you some of his fellow prisoners, the way they live, some expectations they have, how they interact with each other, how they interact with the guards. Yeah, and there's just a lot of different things. At the end of the day, one thing that really stuck out to me was that Ivan Denisovich talks about in the end, he's like, this is a good day. This was a really good day. I got some extra rations. We didn't work on some building. It was some building they didn't want to work on. Some socialist community building that they didn't want to work on. And we didn't have to work on that. I didn't get sent to the cells, and that was pretty much it. That was like a good day for him. And it's just interesting when you have so little, what you consider a good day. And it, like myself, I consider a good day when I get 5 hours of alone time and get to read a book. Just read a book for 5 hours all by myself. When I finish a book, that's an amazing day. Okay, I even have low standards for a good day, but the point is, he didn't even get a chance to do his own things, yet which would kill me. But it was still a good day to him because of all the bad things that didn't happen. And he even got extra rations. He was so happy about that. But yeah, so that's just something that I thought about when I was done with the book. And then it ends, the last few pages, the last words are, there were 3,653 days like that in his stretch. From the first clang of the rail to the last clang of the rail. 3,653 days. The 3 extra days were for leap years. 10 years was his sentence. And it just ends like that, with him counting down how many days he's gone through. And in that, one of the sentences is repetitive in that it's from the first day, or from the first clang on the rail to the last clang on the rail. And for a minute I thought I misread it because I was like, that's so repetitive, but that's what it is. That's what his life was like, from the first clang of the rail to the last clang of the rail. Exactly that. It's a really simple sentence. So it's just really interesting. It One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich shows the mundaneness that someone who lived in a labor camp went through, and the struggles of them to keep themselves healthy. It also just shows how when you don't have a lot, you consider not very much to be great, which is interesting in today's society, something we don't normally think about. So yeah, that's my thoughts on One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. That's it. Bye.